ทำไมจะต้องมาเรียกแต่หนูคนมีตั้งเยอะตั้งแยะทำไมไม่ใช่คนอื่น
Since my last video, Nawat has responded to the backlash he's been getting for ruining Charlotte's birthday event and publicly calling her unprofessional on stage. I also shared fan testimonials about how uncomfortable the birthday celebration felt for many people who attended. Instead of reflecting or taking accountability, Nawat doubled down. He went on live again and posted a 4-minute video on their official TikTok where he lashed out at Charlotte even more. He straight up said that if her behavior doesn't change, she should leave. And at no point did he acknowledge that he might have done anything wrong. In his mind, he's the victim here. A few hours later, Engfa also went live and shared her own experience, which added even more context to the situation. So now I want to break all of this down and call out Nawat's contradictions, because it's becoming very clear that he's trying to deflect blame. In his 4-minute video, this is what Nawat said.
No matter what she did, even the call center issue, I took it all the way to Parliament and handled everything until the money was recovered.
I want to pause right here and give some context. What he's referring to is the scam Charlotte went through in December 2024, where she was scammed out of around 4 million baht, roughly $118,000. Scammers impersonated Thai police using fake IDs and even AI video calls. They told her she was in legal trouble and pressured her into transferring the money. These scams are extremely convincing, and she believed it was real. Later, Thai cyber police arrested suspects connected to the case. Charlotte was brave enough to share her experience publicly to warn others. This wasn't a short or easy process. The lawsuit dragged on for months and only officially ended last month. On November 25th, Charlotte posted on X saying, "Now the case has reached its conclusion. Thank you to myself for not giving up. Thank you for this lesson." Now Nawat is claiming that he handled everything, recovered the money, and basically did it all himself. And this is where things start to feel very off, because Charlotte herself has consistently framed this as her own long, difficult legal battle, not something that was magically fixed by one person stepping in. What also doesn't add up is that in Charlotte's thank you post after the case ended, she never once mentioned Nawat. Fans noticed that immediately, and on top of that, people are resurfacing an old interview she did on channel 131 earlier this month. I remember that interview very clearly because it was extremely personal. She talked about growing up in a broken family, surviving physical abuse and infidelity from her ex, and even attempting to end her life twice. During that same interview, she openly said she still hadn't received a single penny back from the scam at that point. This interview aired 2 weeks ago, yet now Nawat is claiming he went to Parliament, handled everything, and recovered all the money. Now, to be fair, as fans, we don't have full access to what happened behind the scenes. We can't 100% verify how involved he was or what role he played in the process, so I'm willing to give some benefit of the doubt there. But the timeline and public statements we do have don't fully support the way he's presenting himself as the sole savior in this situation. Moving on to his next claim.
I've done everything for her. But sometimes, when people start to lose themselves, they need to be warned, because I already warned her behind the scenes privately many times. However, what was evident this past Saturday was her behavior during the sports event. She bumped into others and showed a very poor facial expression.
But this is where video evidence matters. In the clip he's referring to, you can clearly see that Charlotte didn't bump into anyone. Another player crashed into her. It was a high-energy sports game, and she nearly got knocked out. No one even stopped to check if she was okay. Yes, she looked visibly upset afterward, which is a very human reaction after almost getting injured. Framing that as her being rude or unprofessional feels dishonest when the footage clearly shows what actually happened. Then he went on to say that he asked Charlotte to help sell products for just 5 minutes and that she refused. According to him, she loudly said, "Why does it always have to be me? There are so many other people. Why don't you call someone else?" And that this was disrespectful. He claims people in the hall heard it and that she shouted at him through the microphone, made a sour face, and embarrassed him in front of everyone.
I asked her to come help stand and sell products for just 5 minutes, but she refused to come out. I walked in holding a microphone. What she said was so loud it went right into the mic. Why does it always have to be me? There are so many other people. Why don't you call someone else? That is what I think was very disrespectful to me. You can go ask the people in the hall if they heard it. I really couldn't believe that lately she speaks to me this way. I had to walk in and call her myself while holding the mic. She stood up, made a sour face, and shouted at me in front of everyone. "Everyone, go click the shopping basket first." She spoke to me like that through the mic on air in front of all the other artists in the room.
But again, most fans who attended the event are saying this never happened and they never heard any shouting. Notice the pattern here. Every version of the story relies entirely on his perspective. There's no audio, no clip of this moment, no confirmation from anyone else present, just his word. Okay, there are two things I want to say about this part. First, I already mentioned this in my last video. A lot of fans were genuinely upset because throughout both the sports day and the birthday event, Nawat came off as desperate to sell as much as possible. It felt money hungry, and that's not just my opinion. There are multiple fan testimonials from people who were actually there saying the same thing. The constant selling made the whole atmosphere uncomfortable. Now the second thing. In the middle of sports day, he wanted Charlotte to come out and sell gift boxes again. And I'm sorry, but what is she supposed to be here? A salesperson. Charlotte is an artist, a working artist, not someone you drag out repeatedly just to push products. Of course she wasn't happy about it. And sure, people can argue, oh, it's in her contract, but let's be real for a second. This is not normal for an artist at Charlotte's level. Englat is one of the top GL couples right now, so why are they being treated like sales staff instead of performers? And here's the part that really exposes the lie. Nawat keeps implying that Charlotte refused to sell products, but there's literally a 13-minute video on YouTube of her selling items at the event. She did her part. She fulfilled her duties. So the real question is, how many times was she expected to come out and sell things? How much is ever enough?
ไอ้บัตรที่แบบถ้าใครไม่ได้อันเนี้ยแสดงว่าไม่ได้รักอิงหลอดหรอกแค่รักปลอม
เจ็บซีด
แค่บอกว่าไม่เกี่ยวนะคะพฤติกรรมไม่ใช่
เขาบอกว่า
Unlike him, she clearly doesn't want to drain her fans' wallets over and over again, and it honestly felt like Nawat was so fixated on making money that he even went as far as saying this, which to me says everything about where his priorities really are.
In the evening while singing, fans were waiting to give her tips. If you don't want to take the money, you should at least give a polite Sawa's day or a respectful why. Not just going no and waving them away rudely like this. As an executive sitting there, I felt embarrassed. I was sitting with P-Tup. The elders and seniors asked me, what is wrong with her? And I just said, this is how she is. She went down to accept tips for a bit, maybe for 10 people, then jumped back, retreated to the middle of the stage and said, I don't even want the money anymore. What kind of talk is that?
But once again, this doesn't match the actual footage. There are videos clearly showing Charlotte bowing and politely declining the money. She wasn't rude, she was respectful. And it seems pretty obvious she didn't want to drain her fans of more money, especially after everything that was already being sold that day. What makes it even stranger is that in one of the clips, you can literally see someone being sent to collect money from fans anyway. So the idea that she was being disrespectful just doesn't hold up.
ยิ้มก่อนเลยอันดับแรกโอ้ยังมีอีกเพลงนะ Have one more song นะ you guys แย่ละนี่ล่ะไม่เอาแล้วไม่เป็นไรหนูไม่เอาเงินแล้วพอแล้วไม่เอาเงินแล้วขอจิบน้ำแป๊บนึงนะคะเพราะว่าเพลงต่อไปค่อนข้างที่จะโชว์พลังเสียงนิดหน่อย
A good artist must follow the cues we set. She sang some random song that wasn't in the script. You can't do that because of copyright. If they sue for 200,000 or 300,000 baht, she will have to pay it herself. No one else does this. Artists from other agencies don't do this. To perform any songs, we had to officially clear the copyrights. If you want to do everything your own way and make your own decisions, then go ahead and go solo. We can't handle this. Do you understand? You just do whatever you want, think whatever you want, go wherever you want. I can't take it anymore, understand? Why did I have to say it right there? Because her behavior all day Saturday was displayed in public. If I didn't take action publicly, it would look like I am indifferent to this kind of behavior.
Well, let's pause here, because this argument feels exaggerated and misleading. First of all, artists singing unscripted songs at fan events is not some unheard of crime. It happens all the time, especially at informal events like sports day or birthday celebrations. You don't weaponize legal fear to scare someone into obedience. Then he completely lost the plot and said things like, you do whatever you want, think whatever you want, go wherever you want, I can't take it anymore. That doesn't sound like calm leadership. It sounds like someone emotionally unloading. And when he tried to justify why he said all of this publicly by claiming that if he didn't act on stage, it would look like he was indifferent, it just confirmed the problem. What he really admitted here is that he wanted to make an example out of her. He wanted to show control, not solve an issue. And once again, instead of handling things privately like a professional CEO, he chose to perform authority in front of fans, staff, and cameras, on her birthday no less. That's not management. That's ego.
ให้มันผ่านไป
This is what Engfa said on live yesterday. No one who was there thought this would happen. I was shocked. The three of us who were there at that moment could only pray silently and keep cheering her on, hoping she could get through it. At that time, honestly, I didn't know what to do. I was truly concerned about her feelings. I was just stunned, like really stunned. I never expected the boss saying that. When we came down from the stage, boss's face was red like someone about to cry. He followed me and told me not to be shocked by what had happened, because it was something internal, behind the scenes, this and that. I won't go into details. Then I walked out and meet Nong. I gave her encouragement, cheering her on. Everyone has been through moments like this before. It's hard to find the right words. But honestly, no one really knew what was going to happen. I want everyone who loves her to please give encouragement so she can get through this. I truly believe it will end well in the end. Please stay calm. When fire meets fire, everything breaks down. Sometimes what we think is protection can actually become indirect harm. Believe me. We should protect in a positive way and offer encouragement instead. That's the best way, and this will pass. It has already happened, and from now on, everything should get better. There's really nothing to worry about. If I don't speak up, people say I don't care or that I'm ignoring it. That's not true. No one ignored anything. When we met, after what happened, we hug each other, giving her encouragement and having conversations already before leaving. But there was no need to do it in front of everyone. And it's not that the boss doesn't love us. When he came off the stage, his face was red like he was about to cry, his hands were shaking. When he touched me, it was shaking. There are two types. If someone doesn't care, they say nothing, let it go, and ignore it, just like the toxic fans I've seen. You ask if I see them? Yes, I do. But I don't give them any value or attention. That kind of indifference is actually scarier. At this level, pause. People think differently, and we can't always respond the same way. But I believe he cares. He loves her. Please trust that. We don't see everything that happens behind the scenes. But one thing I know for sure is that he loves her. There's no need to be afraid about that. But his actions may have come from anger. It was that kind of feeling. Haven't we all been there? Haven't we all lost control when we were angry? It was probably like that. We don't understand everything, but it will pass. Please be encouragement for everyone. I hope everything ends well. Next year, let's start fresh with good things. We'll see each other on the 4th. I'm not taking anyone's side, but honestly, this is all I can do. I'm speaking directly. It's not that I've never been through this. I have. Everyone probably already knows that. There's no need to talk about it. Engfa's live made it clear that no one expected this to happen, and that everyone on stage was genuinely worried about Charlotte. She believes the boss cares and acted out of anger, and while emotions can explain what happened, they don't excuse it. Even Engfa herself said this didn't need to happen in front of everyone. Care and harm can exist at the same time. Someone can mean well and still cross the line. I get why Engfa is asking fans to stay calm. Charlotte's supporters are demanding an apology and even talking about a potential boycott. But this isn't just a one-time thing. This is the 3rd time Nawat has publicly insulted Charlotte in just a few months. First at Freen's birthday, then at her own birthday event, and now on this live. I understand what Engfa is saying, but as fans, it's impossible to just ignore this and move on from someone who keeps acting so toxic. At the end of the day, Charlotte deserves encouragement, dignity, and support, and the hope is that this becomes a lesson so nothing like this happens again.